All right, folks, welcome back to another fantastic edition of Opali Presents Know Your Pros. And today we have a guest I've been really looking forward to talking to. Her name is Ivy Grigoryan, a partner at Grigoryan, Blum, and Grigoryan, an injury law firm here in Pasadena, California. Ivy has been a partner with her husband, Tigran, for many years now, and it's just a thrill to have you on today, Ivy.
Thank you, Henry. I'm really pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Ivy, you're part of my BNI chapter, a really fantastic attorney. And every week when I hear you talk about who you're looking for in terms of a referral partner, you have so much poise in that ask. And it's got to be a tough job being an injury attorney. So tell me a little story about how it is that you got started working for yourself at this office.
Oh, that's a great question. So when I first graduated law school, actually, I was working for my dad. He was an attorney in Orange County. He's since retired. And he was doing mostly at that point in his career, family law work. Tigran was working for another solo attorney in Glendale, doing personal injury. And we were both working for other people, for a significant period of time. And I think one day we just came together and we said, hey, we're doing this for these other firms. We can do this for ourselves. And so we took our first case kind of outside of our firms, and we were working from our kitchen table in our apartment. And from there, it just kind of took off. And that's how we started our business together in injury law.
I love that story. Like the kitchen table, the garage, any well-to-do enterprise starts somewhere, honest. And I think that's translated into how you do business at your firm. And I know for our viewers, there are lots of attorneys that we talk to. And, if you're not familiar with the legal world, you might not know what exactly an injury attorney is. So I figured I'd kind of let you answer that and then also get into why this industry, what kind of compelled you to go along this path rather than another one?
So personal injury is a broad term. I think of it like an umbrella, and then you have all these different types of cases under that umbrella. But our main job is to get compensation for people who have been injured, and that can either be physically or emotionally. Most times those two things go hand in hand. We started personal injury work. Like I said, my dad was a family law attorney. And if there's any family law attorneys that are going to see this, I apologize. But that is a tough business for me personally. It just didn't bring me joy. It didn't make me happy. And so I started taking personal injury cases, and I realized pretty quickly that these clients were at a huge disadvantage. And I started to see how insurance companies, which are for-profit businesses, were really taking advantage of the power structure and really just trying to keep as much money in their pockets and not fairly and adequately compensate people who had been injured and suffered significant injuries. And so once I started taking those cases and advocating for these clients, I really felt, that I was doing a service to people who needed my help, and it felt good. And that's just kind of how the injury law came about.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be redeeming because there are, I mean, I've talked to, plenty of other guests who have talked about how insurance companies can really just take you for a ride. And nobody wants to be on the opposite end of that. The final question I've got here for you, Ivy, I mean, you guys are not some big billboard law firm out there. When it comes to the injury world, it's tough to kind of differentiate yourself. But knowing you and knowing your firm, you guys are, worlds different from what you might experience when you call something like that. Tell our viewers what it is that is the difference with Grigoryan, Blum, and Grigoryan.
Yes, and thank you for pointing that out. So we have all seen the billboard attorneys, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just not who we are. We identify as a boutique injury firm. We get to pick and choose the cases that we take, and we're not a mill. So each one of our clients is treated like we would treat our family member, like our mother or our sister or brother if they were injured. You're not just a case number or a name. You're a person, you're a human being, and that's how you're treated. When our clients come to us, they have access to Tigran and me immediately. They contact us on our cell phones, on the weekends, in the evenings. And we really give that personal attention, because you have to remember, these people, a lot of them have not been through this before. They don't know what to do. They don't know what the steps are. And at the same time, they're injured. So they're in pain and they have to, go to numerous doctor's appointments. So they really need a lot of hand holding and help. And the best way we can help them is by doing that. And when we have that personal relationship with our clients, we do see a difference in the outcome. We do see how we can be of more help and getting them compensation and the best outcome for their case when we work with them like that.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, that's great to hear you say that, because, before I joined, our BNI chapter that we're both a part of, I had never thought, one time in my life that I would, want to go ahead and talk to an attorney, for anything. It's like a scary or kind of nervy prospect, because it's like, well, oh, am I going to get charged? Is this going to be something that I can't get out of, or whatever it might be? But in reality, when you call a firm like what you have at GBG, Ivy, you just get a real person on the other end of the phone, who's curious to hear about what's going on, and how they can really help you. Consultations, I'm sure, are free when they talk to you. But, I want to ask, before we wrap this up, how can folks who might have experienced an injury get in touch with you guys at GBG?
Great question. So I would suggest that anybody who's been injured, check us out on our website, lawgbg.com. There's a ton of great information there. There's client testimonials. There's bios about us at our firm. And then calling our office is a great way to get in touch, 626-817-9022. When you call, like you said, you'll talk to one of us, and our consultations are free. And then emailing me as well. My email address is my first name, Ivy, at lawgbg.com. I do ask that clients contact me first. I'm not allowed to reach out unless I have permission, but phone and email are the two best ways to get a hold of me here.
Perfect. Folks, don't hesitate. Next time you might think that something could be done about your injury, Ivy is the one to talk to. She's my attorney in my pocket, and I hope she becomes yours too. Ivy, thank you for being a guest here on Know Your Pros.
Thank you so much for having me.
Know Your Pros!